Oh, Howie. How long has it been since we saw you for the last time being like yourself, laughing, having a life, showing joy or something? And it seems that we have new insights as to why, well, he has behaved the way he has. Welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and we have this topic today thanks to a Twitter account that, well, it's logged, it's private at this moment, so I can't name her, but I thank her for pointing this out on my timeline. Harry befriended a whole group of her chums. We're talking about Chelsy Davy. Basically, he morphed into Chelsea's friends. He got a girlfriend who was from Africa, and before you knew it, Harry was walking around in his bare feet, sitting by campfire, paddling by the outbacks of Africa. Duncan Larcombe. This is the author that wrote the book Prince Harry, the inside story. And by the way, who was editor at The Sun, I understand that he had vastly experience on Harry's life at some point. But by the way, it's relevant to point out that at that moment, well, Harry had actual facial expressions, not like now that he's just only just one facial expression of being, I don't know, frustrated, constipated, you name it, but it's very limited, his range of emotions. But back then, when he was dating Chelsy Davy, well, you had this like intention that expressing emotions over and over again. That was nice. It also turned itself to memes. Why not? It was a nice love story back then. What happened? We're going to find out what happened with Chelsy Davy. I have a theory about that. Why wasn't she the one if Harry was having such a good time with her? But the words that actually caught my attention were this: morph into. And that for me was an instant red flag. Now, before jumping into conclusions, I wanted to know more about, well, this author that made these remarks about him, and maybe in an interview from 2017, we could find some clues about Harry that explain his behavior before, well, we realize the truth. And in this case, royal correspondent reveals the side to Prince Harry the public doesn't see. Well, it sounds like that's where he got that the me you can see for Oprah and Apple TV. Maybe that was the inspiration. This is something interesting. The biggest misconception about Prince Harry is that he is flash and confident. He's actually quite insecure. Well, we used to see him flashy and confident back then, but it's like when Meghan arrived, he he doesn't care anymore. People see him insecure all the time, and that doesn't make sense because he is. According to his own words, with the love of his life. So you can imagine that a man in those circumstances should be happy, right? When he's often talked about as being very flash, I think the public imagine him turning up in Las Vegas hotel and saying, "The drinks are on me," but like all the royals, he's actually very frugal. He hardly ever spends money. Well, I think he married the wrong person, but whatever. If he flies, he will always book himself on British Airways or Virgin in an economy class seat like Prince William. What happened to that, Harry? What happened to that economy class seats? But they know they will get upgraded as they always do. He doesn't drive around in Aston Martins. He doesn't have an incredibly extravagant lifestyle. Well, he does now. He's actually quite an insecure person and isn't the most confident of characters. The army helped his confidence, but before he went to Sandhurst, he used to do the classic things that people who are lacking in self-confidence do, like acting the fool the whole time, messing around, getting himself into trouble, saying things he shouldn't. What? He isn't a big confident character. He's full of self-doubt, in my opinion. I disagree with these traits as not having self-confidence. Acting the fool, messing around, getting himself into trouble. I think even a confident person can get themselves into trouble because, well, they're confident and they want to try things. Saying things he shouldn't. it's the opposite. If you are not that confident, well, then you are quiet and shy. If you are confident, then you say things even if you shouldn't say them, right? You just express your opinion. Of course, you have to be discreet at times, but you get idea. Now, this caught my attention. He cares about what people think of him. I was always surprised at just how religiously he reads stuff that's written about him. I think Prince Charles hasn't read a newspaper in years, but Harry, and to some extent William, they almost read everything that's written. It's a sign that probably deep down he is worried about what people think of him. This is important for what we are going to see about his behavior with Chelsy Davy. He would have been incredibly upset at the criticism he received recently when he said no one's to be the monarch. So we have to go back to that statement of morph into. He morphed into Chelsy's friends. He got a girlfriend who was from Africa, and before you knew it, I was walking around with his bare feet. Okay, like he adapted his behavior to her. And that is a red flag. And I also tweeted that a man who changes his behavior to appease you is a red flag. Just saying. And I wanted to elaborate a bit more on this. A man whose behavior changes depending on girlfriends or even hookups have unresolved mommy issues. He's trying to appeal to a secondary mother figure, earn her approval. His actual mother somehow didn't or couldn't give him that approval. That happens. In the case of Diana, she was giving him the emotional tools he needed as a man, but tragedy happened. In some cases, mothers don't have the tools or don't care about their children or don't care about their sons, and there's a big misconceptions because it's mothers and, well, sisters to some extent who give us the tools we need to understand these emotions that we have and not be able to just bury them, which in the case of William and Harry was much easier for William because he had a bit more disposition, a bit more emotional tools to deal with what happened with Diana, with his mother, but Harry was lacking in those tools. Maybe he was not as good as William as dealing with emotions. He had all this unresolved anger. He had this resentment, this kind of resentment towards William. Since a long time ago. Although they get along pretty well, but you know how it is when they treat you like this pair, and you have this thinking that can lead you to think and say that the moment your nephew, Prince George, turns 18, you will be totally irrelevant, and you know that, well, Harry had issues. And I'm sure that this was a clue that morphing into Chelsy Davy friends, morphing into archetype of a person that he thought that she would like, well, that is a sign of insecurity. And you might think that, well, that is cute in a man, but that is wrong. That is not something that is cute. And yes, it applies also to women. When a woman wants to or is willing to change her own behavior to appease a man, that is wrong. That is something that is something that is not gonna work. And if you do that, if you're used to do that, you have to realize that there's a problem, and you need to make sense of where does that behavior come from. You have to assess where does that behavior come from. In the case of a man who does that, it's like he's dating a girl, or dating a woman, and he sees in that woman the mother figure that he didn't have, okay? And he wants to please that mother figure. He wants approval from, because we all, men and women, we want approval from our mothers and our fathers. That is normal. But in this case, in this dynamic, we're talking about a man who tries to change his behavior to be like a better boyfriend, or be like a better man, because she likes this and I'm going to adapt to that. I understand that this could be difficult to differentiate sometimes from, well, maybe he doesn't like rom-coms. I don't know which man in this world could actually like rom-coms, romantic comedies, movies that are about a romantic comedy situation. But maybe they will go to those movies with you. But if if they also take you to the movies he likes, well, there's a balance. There's nothing to worry about. But there always has to be a bit of an agreement and a bit of a friction at the same time, because if you see that a man just adapts to your life, adapts to your schedule, adapts to whatever you like, adapts to the food you like, adapts to, well, your life, that might seem like you are meeting the Prince Charming. You're meeting Prince Charming, but it's not. It is a red flag. Maybe it's not a red flag in terms of a toxic relationship with a narcissist manipulator. Maybe it could be, because that is a strategy that they can use. But it's more like you're getting into a relationship or a hookup or dating someone that could have codependency, dependency, or the bad kind of attachment trouble. So you have to be very wary on that. Nice comment from No Numpty on Twitter. Of course, if your whole intent is to find a man you can manipulate and control to your own advantage, then by all means, these are the men for you. And you know that there are women like that. And, well, I'm not going to mention them directly, but you have the idea. And these women are not stupid. They know when they are able to tell when a man has this kind of troubles, and if they are a public personality, then you can even get that these men have this kind of troubles even in a public way. By the way, in a totally unrelated note, we have this from The Independent. The mainstream media is, it's wars every day. I guess that's why you love my channels, and I thank you for that. I appreciate that, my Royal Rogues. But the study finds that Meghan Markle is the most intelligent member of the royal family. What a load of bollocks. That is just a blatant lie, because we all know that the most intelligent of all the royal family in all history is Harry, of course. That's the truth. And I don't know how can they sleep at night writing this kind of misinformation. And that I have my third channel, Pop Dank, where I'm battling misinformation and all this woke nonsense that is going on with the world. You just have to. I'm trying to leave the link in the description so you can follow me there, Pop Dank. Well, my Royal Rogues, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and until we meet in another video or another live, remember, much love and bliss.